Some Democratic supporters are concerned about U.S. President Joe Biden's uneven performance in last night's debate.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
The 81-year-old had a raspy voice and rambling responses. Democratic supporters at the watch party gasped when Biden lost his train of thought while trying to make a point about tax rates and the number of billionaires in America near the beginning of the debate. Former President Donald Trump appeared energetic, but not always accurate with his responses. And last night, our contributor Wyatt Sharpe was on the spin room floor in Atlanta, speaking to campaign surrogates and getting their reaction to the debate.
We are here in the spin room of the presidential debate. We've been talking to a number of different advisors to both of the campaigns, although after what some are deeming a poor performance for President Biden tonight, the Biden campaign has been a little more hesitant to kind of openly release surrogates into the spin room to speak to the media. But the Trump campaign has a lot of people out here talking to the press, expressing how they feel they did, because all things considered, it was a relatively decent night for former President Trump. It's not as if the bar is super high necessarily, but there are a lot of policy issues that were discussed in tonight's debate, a lot of substance, as opposed to what some people were expecting. The Trump campaign, even going into tonight, were saying that perhaps the moderators of the debate were not able to do so, questioning their credentials because they are partisan. But even I've been talking to some people here in the spin room, and they're actually admitting that the debate was a good gesture, that they really did exercise a high degree of kind of nonpartisanship and unbiased journalism. And so certainly a lot to watch for here tonight, and we're going to stay here in the spin room as more people continue cycling through from each of the campaigns, kind of providing their perspective. Vivek, are you confident that the Republicans will actually go against President Biden in 2024 after tonight?
Look, I think that every American should understand that Biden is not something we're going to be able to tolerate for the future success of our country. Thank you.
Well, Democrats are in full panic mode after the abysmal, historically worst performance ever in modern history by Joe Biden. Listen, Joe Biden is the candidate this November. We're going to defeat Joe Biden. We will flip the House, flip the Senate, and we will win back we will pick up seats in the House. Of course, we're the last line of defense as House Republicans right now.
Just so you know, there's not a single Democrat here.
There is not a single Democrat or Joe Biden campaign spinner here because they know it was the worst, most pathetic performance. And it was just an abysmal loss. His polls, which were already catastrophically low, they're going to even go lower.
So obviously, former President Trump had a relatively successful tonight as far as the pundits are concerned. But how does he kind of capitalize on that? Obviously, this debate is in June, much earlier than usual. And so there is still a lot of opportunity for things to go wrong in the lead up to November 5th. How does he capitalize on the success tonight?
Well, it's a continuation of a process. It's not milestones are really a series of things that happen one after the other. So this is just the latest reflection of what's been happening for well over a year, which is President Trump knew that there is a choice coming up for the American people that's a stark contrast. His first term, the economy, the border, the world, a less chaotic, a more stable world, a border that was secure, and an economy that had low inflation and affordability. So contrast that with where we are today with Biden, and that's been the buildup all along. If you look back, President Trump started talking about having a debate with Biden, well over 6 months ago, almost a year, I think. Anywhere, anytime, any place. So that challenge was because President Trump knew if we were given the opportunity to contrast our positions, the American people will see it.
And Joe Biden, I don't know how else to put it, it was a disaster for him. And I don't know how he comes back from it. I think anybody who was watching this thing is sort of undeniable. I take no real pleasure in saying it, but his mental acuity clearly is in decline, and I can't imagine what he'd be like 4 years from now, and I think the American people see all that.
Is it possible now that the party could try to replace Joe Biden as a candidate?
No, President Biden is going to be the nominee for the Democratic Party as we head into November.
But you all must be worried that makes it more likely Donald Trump's going to be the president after tonight's performance.
No, I think we saw Donald Trump shy away from any substance that the American public wanted wanted to hear. He refused to answer if he would support a national abortion ban. He refused to answer about his positions on foreign policy as it relates to Russia and the NATO bloc. He refused to answer if he would accept the results of the January 6th or of the election when it comes up. He refused to answer several questions of substance. So again, the president had to relay a message to the American people and show that Donald Trump has no substance, and I think that that's what they saw.